All right, so I road tested my theory I told you guys that the bitter cold does not impact a man whose heart is blistering. Happens to be a bona fide fact. It's been freezing fucking cold in the mornings, but I've been able to easily, trivially walk outdoors, bare fucking chested, smoking cigs, whereas most motherfuckers would have icicles dangling off their fucking chin, completely unaffected. I do not feel cold no matter what fucking temperature I'm under, because my mission right now is burning mega hot, white hot. And I told you guys that your response to the cold weather is 100% a mirror. It's a reflection of your state of mind. People vastly underestimate how the physical, biological responses 100% are a reflection of your state of mind. Now, I was in the gym recently and I was front squatting and I was on my own platform, and the class in the gym had wrapped up and there were two trainers that lingered after the class. And the way this gym is set up, it's very high ceilinged. So it's like a fucking amphitheater. Every fucking word echoes. And I'm on my platform and I can hear this conversation, this liaison between these two fucking trainers after class. And I was slack jawed, because very rarely do I get to eavesdrop on a normie conversation. Very rarely do I have my boots on the ground and my ears close to the dirt so I can hear what the common fucking consensus is amongst the pros. Now, these motherfuckers are making like $50 an hour, personal trainers. Both these guys were probably in their mid-30s, okay? $50 an hour personal training. Motherfuckers are talking about Warren Buffett. Motherfuckers are sliding Warren Buffett quotes back and forth, slinging them. Slogan dispensers, talking about the analytical approach of fucking billionaires, while these motherfuckers are making $50 an hour. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, is this actually what the plebs do? Like, is this whole billionaire thing just a psyop? Do plebs just sit around with their hands fucking folded at the tables all fucking day, just mulling around the analytical approaches of people who are actually out there gunslinging? And then the epiphany hit me that this is a classic textbook case of the middle. Cuffed, fettered. These motherfuckers are fettered right smack dab in the fucking middle. Pin the tail on the donkey in the fucking middle. And personal trainers are a very interesting class in general because yeah, like they can jack up an hourly that's relatively sexy compared to like a minimum wage gig. But what I've noticed about all personal trainers is I've never seen thirst for knowledge like a personal trainer. These motherfuckers can quote Aurelius. They can fucking pull the wildest analogies out of their ass. They can tell you how each fucking joint articulates itself under load. They know all sorts of fucking esoteric, bizarre shit, right? Because these guys are just sponges. They love knowledge. Personal trainers are usually very broad. They're usually very broad in scope. And that's why, like, a good personal trainer almost has like a messianic sort of aura. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like a therapy booth. A lot of people who employ personal trainers, it goes way beyond training. They'll take their advice on a lot of other miscellaneous sundries. You know what I mean? It does become that. It morphs into something bigger. Because trainers are very well educated and usually very well studied. But here's the problem. This is a textbook fucking example of where education ends up cucking the fuck out of you. These motherfuckers are making $50 an hour. They're not pushing, and they're fucking over here slinging Warren Buffett fucking quotes. The fuck is going on here? Alarm bells should be buzzing in your head right now as to the tragicomic irony of that situation. Zero balls. Trapped in the middle yet again. Bartender is a very similar type of vibe. Like the money's just good enough to keep you cuffed. You see a lot of motherfuckers kind of coast into their late 30s, even 40s bartending. And they never really break out of it. But they're worldly. They're worldly. Their bookshelf is usually fucking topped off. You know what I'm saying? They got Robert Greene on the fucking coffee table. They fucking, they got Niccolo fucking Machiavelli shit, little fucking blurb cutouts and shit, posters on their fucking walls. But none of it's applicable. None of it's applicable, and it's a classic case of motherfuckers who are so overly educated. And here's what I want you to understand. This is how most people navigate through the world. Most people genuinely believe in the bottom of their heart that if you load the gills, if you put all your fucking stat points into education and you just keep learning and you become a fucking vending machine for fucking quotes and slogans, eventually someone just calls you up to the big leagues. And that's what these personal trainers were doing. I could tell. I could tell by the nature of the conversation. They think if they just book one more seminar, if they take one more commercial flight to Dallas in December to a fucking symposium and learn just a little more Latin about how the fucking functional muscles operate. If they learn more about the rectus femoris, your fucking tensor fascia lata, that somehow they're gonna whip themselves up into a fucking juggernaut. And it never happens. They just stay on the educational treadmill because life does not birth opportunity to the educated. What you motherfuckers have to understand is life goes to the motherfuckers who seize the opportunities. You have to take what you want in life. You can't stack up on any skill set and think that people are going to seek you out for your expertise. If you can't shamelessly self promote, you are mega fucked. Do you understand? And so that last tweet that I've had kindling up on my wall for the last 3 days is a fucking powerhouse because it's a fucking fact. You can high hurdle and strafe and sidestep a lot of the rigmarole and bullshit in life simply by being underqualified, but biting off a fuckload more than you can chew, and then figuring it out and skilling up along the way. Do you guys understand? Because look, this sort of bifurcates into this whole thing that we're indoctrinated as kids. And this was like, if you're familiar with my older spaces, when I've discussed my upbringing and the pugnacious attitude that I had towards the information that was being given to me, I knew it was bullshit. There was an intuition that I had. I knew I was being led astray. You got to understand, I grew up in a household that preached this very thing that I'm up here lambasting today, which was you have to be responsible. You have to budget. You have to scale back your spending. You have to fucking financially plan. What the fuck is that bullshit? If you have to run a tight fucking budget, monitor every penny that goes in and out constantly, my friend, you have an income problem. And it doesn't matter how much masking tape or bandages you want to fucking throw over that and pretend that doesn't exist. But my friend, you have an abundance problem. If you have to be overly fucking responsible, quote unquote, adulting, you have an income problem. That's the root of your fucking problem. You can budget yourself to death all you fucking want. All you've done is craft a very nifty ceiling that hovers over your fucking head. And that's what the average motherfucker who comes up in the modern school system with boomer parents is taught. You were taught that you live in a dome and there is a ceiling above your head. And how dare you, son, ever dream of breaching above that fucking ceiling? How dare you? How dare you fucking carve your own path? Take a fucking prefabbed path that's been carved by somebody else because someone else did all the legwork and all the hard work and fucking paved it for you. Follow them. Don't reinvent the fucking wheel, right? That's really what you're told. That's really what you're told. And then your thinking just really gets disintegrated. You stop dreaming big, you stop visualizing big, and then there's no action behind it. You lose all your luster, and you end up taking horrible positions in life with no leverage. No leverage. You end up a 37-year-old personal trainer making 50 to 100 bucks an hour, reading voraciously, thinking that if you just show everyone how educated you are, some magical fucking stork is going to deliver you the deal of a lifetime at your fucking doorstep. And it never happens. It never happens. And so you soothe yourself and you pacify yourself even stronger by reading even more and going deeper into knowledge rabbit holes. Like I said, more courses, more symposiums, more seminars, more information because it's risk free. You understand? There's no stake in the game. There's no skin invested. You can just sit there and keep getting more and more knowledgeable, beefing yourself up. Your time is coming. Your time is coming. 20 years has passed. You've never been called up. You've never been called up. And then you have a wild motherfucker who grew up really extremely irresponsible. Because you have to understand, if you can generate enough money, you don't have to be responsible. You can be very fucking irresponsible. You can be a total fucking wild card if you build and you overpower a machine that can compensate for the deficits in life. And that should be the goal of every red-blooded male should be to overpower your deficits, not retrench yourself. Retrenchment is for pussies. It's for fucking bitch pussies is what it is. Retrenchment. No, 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 no. You want expansion. You always want to have the mentality of expansion, abundance, and then you don't have to worry about adulting and being fucking responsible. I am the most irresponsible person that I fucking know. I got paperwork fucking stacked up. I don't know where anything is. I don't know where I don't know where my fucking birth certificate is. I don't know where any fucking documents are. I don't store shit. I don't fucking keep receipts. I have no fucking clue. All I know is if you maximize your fucking strengths, you're gonna win. On a long enough time scale, if you go all in on what you're naturally talented, you're gonna fucking crush. Let me tell you something. My whole learning style for like 20 straight years has been predicated on one thing and one thing only. And nothing has catapulted me higher than this one thing I'm about to share with you. And it's this: any activity, any sport, any method, any modality that I've ever experimented with that I did not naturally grasp in about 2 milliseconds of going toe to toe with it, I instantly discarded and threw to the wayside. If I was working on a math problem that annoyed me, I ain't wasting any more time. I'm throwing it in the fucking trash. If I read a fucking book, if I read a fucking novel, and I briskly read through 30 consecutive chronological pages. And at the end of the 30 pages, I could not tell you a motherfucking thing that I just read. I trusted that my subconscious mind knew that the information that I was reading was absolutely fucking useless. There's no going back, thumbing through the pages, rereading it 3 times to fucking stir up the comprehension. I always operated under the assumption that my first my first walkthrough in an activity would give me all the information that I needed to know. And anything that I retained in that passage, the most minute detail, I trusted my instincts and my body retained that fact, that info, that blurb for a very fucking specific reason. I've never gone back and fucking had to reread something. That was my fucking learning strategy. Try a bunch of shit, whatever comes super easy and super naturally to me, I am going to triple and quadruple down until the fucking end of time on all the things that come naturally to me. Now, obviously, the things that come naturally to you are going to present their own challenges. There's going to be difficulty, but here's the compass. It's fun. It's fun to tackle those challenges because because you have aptitude. Do you understand? There's a natural aptitude there. Math, discarded. Tried bass guitar, found it to be very fucking obnoxious. Discarded. Never once would I dare dream of spending a decade. And look, the human mind is incredible at learning. You absolutely can teach yourself and become proficient at anything. That's 100% fact. Yes, of course you can do that, but it's going to take you 10 years to get mild proficiency just to compete and break even with a motherfucker who has the natural proclivity and came out of the womb roasting and cooking on that fire. Do you understand? So you have just burned and denigrated yourself for a decade just to break even with the motherfucker who grasped it naturally. And so that's what I would do. I would just tear through material, pamphlets, literature, skills, whatever, and everything that I didn't need would get sloughed off. It would just get sloughed off. And whatever I remembered, I remembered. That's it. I would read an article once, never to fucking return. When I would write emails on my email list, I didn't go back and edit a motherfucking thing. It was all extemporaneous. I would literally spark up a cigarette, launch an email, it would take me 20 minutes to write. I would pour my fucking heart out on the page, refused on principle to go back and reread what I fucking wrote. I don't make edits. I'm not making spelling changes. I'm not doing a fucking thing. I'm publishing that fucking email as it stands and I'm moving on. And that, my friends, is a massive, massive boon. And it's a very easy way to high hurdle the fucking middle, like I told you, which is extremely fucking clogged with everyone who is involved in the tedium of learning fucking nonsense. There's people that spend all day trying to crack problems that are way too difficult for them to solve. Let me tell you something, my friend. If you are working on a problem that is stumping you over and over and over again, you're working on the wrong fucking problem. Because as we've discussed, if you lean into your nature, you are cosmically designed by the universe to tackle certain problems. Certain problems that are endemic to your skill set are going to be very easy to solve. And those are the problems that you need to put in front of yourself. Another thing that I've noticed, any motherfucker who is extremely efficient with their time and is a busybody and always telling you they're busy, I don't have time to waste on this. People who vocally tell you that they don't have time to waste are the biggest fucking losers I have noticed on the planet. Losers, people with a chock full fucking schedule, always have time slots booked, have no time to dick around and fuck around. Losers guaranteed. Let me tell you something. You've never heard this before. Winners waste a fuckload of time. Okay? It's counterintuitive. Winners piss on time daily because what you're doing is you're maximizing entropy, right? The motherfucker with a booked time slot who is always efficiently threading the needle of time, never fucking veers, never strays from a schedule, is minimizing entropy. Beautiful opportunities do not arise from that kind of lifestyle. That is a fucking fact. And people who are psychonauts, that means motherfuckers who are interested in navigating the imagination and the psychological machinations of the human mind, they enjoy veering, going down different alleyways, taking detours, and exploring quote unquote worthless opportunities because you learn a lot about life and you learn a lot about human psychology. Sometimes I will purposely enter a deal or a conversation that I know is completely fucking worthless just because I want to hear the person's pitch on the other end. It's very fucking illuminating. Is it a giant waste of time? Technically, yes. Semantically, yes. But from a wisdom life perspective, it's extremely fucking valuable. I love to see the inner workings of people's minds. What are they going to throw at me? What's the fucking angle? What's the fucking pitch? There is a lot of fucking time wasting and languishing in the winner's mindset. You are not juicing the fuck out of every second of every day. That makes zero fucking sense. There are only a couple good ideas in life. Do you understand? There are only a couple good ideas that float to the top. And life is largely a product of using your mind to bat down all the bad ideas and let the cream rise to the fucking top. There's only a couple industries where all the money is in the world: finance, tech, healthcare. Outside of those industries, there really ain't diddly squat for money. Even fucking rap, music, you think that's a fucking huge industry? It's like a $250 billion market cap. Tiny, tiny compared to fucking tech, finance, and healthcare. Do you understand? So the money, all the money generates from like a very, very, very small nexus point in the world. Anyone with huge bags, you can always trace is going to be usually in one of those branches or some offshoot of it. It's just how it fucking works. And so you got to let the fucking cream rise to the top. I'm telling you guys that the biggest, baddest fucking wolves, the winners, are wasting a lot of fucking time exploring what looks like nonsense because they're maximizing entropy, and then opportunities and creativity and inspiration can spring from the most mundane experiences. This is what motherfuckers don't understand. Artists, the greatest works of art are created through extrapolating the mundane. And people who are scared to surf the tsunamis of the mundane don't go very far. Because again, you have created that iron dome above your head that we talked about earlier. I cringe when a motherfucker tells me I'm too busy to do this. The greatest winners on earth are never too busy to do anything. And by the way, their schedule is 100 times more stacked than yours is. But they always have time to take a detour and peek under a fucking crevice. You know what I'm saying? Voyage into this nook and cranny. Find an insight here. Find a little glistening fucking thing here. There's something to glean over here. Detours. Detours is where all the asymmetric opportunities lie. It's all in the fucking detours. This concludes our session.